Real Chat episode 62, Moon.
Sam Bell reporting to Central. Everything running smoothly. Over and out. Rock and roll. God bless America.
Good morning, Sam. Do you want me to cut your hair then?
Lunar Industries remains the #1 provider of clean energy worldwide due to the hard work of people like you.
That they can us know.
3 years is a long haul, you know.
I know you're really lonely up there, but I'm proud of you.
2 weeks to go, Sam.
2 weeks to go, buddy. I'm going home. Looks like we got a live one. I'm gonna go out.
Okay, Sam.
Leaving Serang, working perimeter.
Stand outside. Who is he? You tell me who that is!
Perhaps you're imagining things.
What's going on? Where did he come from? Why does he look like me?
You've been up here too long, man. You've lost your marbles.
2 weeks. I don't understand what's happening. This is my mind. I want to go home.
I know.
The last place you'd ever expect to find yourself. Everybody, welcome to episode 62 of Real Chat, a podcast that promises week in, week out, the real world as we know it. No lasers, no explosions, no aliens, no problem. Moon director Duncan Jones's 2009 British science fiction drama is a member of a lost species, a true work of science fiction art that explores not just outer space, but the deepest chasms of mankind. Shot over the course of a mere 33 days, Moon is a reflection of everything that makes man a man, a detached yet deeply personal account of one individual's struggle to cope with both isolation and the revelation of a dark and disturbing secret, while also commenting on humanity's evolved yet nevertheless disconnected and heartless ways. Set in a future 2035 to be exact, where science and technology have once again revolutionised the world, but where the human species' morality is questioned, Moon is one of this generation's and history's finest examples of science fiction done absolutely right. My name is Adam Stolfo, or at least a fifth-generation clone of Adam Stolfo, one or the other, but I'm joined here by what I assume is the real Andrew McCaskill. How are you, sir?
I'm good, 100% pure, I think.
Yeah? Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. Welcome back, Andrew. And joined here as well by our good friend, Mr. Matthew O'Neill.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I just finished talking about Ghostbusters 3, and I feel like I've been here 3 years.
Yep.
That explains the beard.
Yeah, I even dressed up for today.
And returning as well for another round of Real Chat action is Miss Penny Jolly. How you doing, Penny?
I'm over the moon to be here.
Oh, someone had to do it.
There we go.
Fantastic.
You did return too.
Yeah.
They weren't frightened of us in the first episode.
Well, you know, they put in a pod and I came back.
Warning sign.
This is an episode of the returning Vintage Vault retrospective series, a conscious effort to tie in selected shows with something of relevance to the present. And this may seem like a bit of a stretch to some people, but David Bowie's death this year, maybe? Really, guys, I just really like this film. I just really want to do it. So.
Supermoon?
Supermoon?
Just had the Supermoon
we did have
this
the
year.
Supermoon.
First time since 1940-something.
We did, indeed. 2016 has not really been a kind year to the world of entertainment. We've lost a lot of big names, and David Bowie was obviously one of the biggest. And yeah, his son directed this film, and this was his first attempt as well. So, yeah, so just right onto it, guys. Initial thoughts on Moon?
Yeah, this is a long time between drinks since I first saw it, so it was good to see it again. It's just a very minimal, intelligent sci-fi film, just a very restrained film, which I really thought was quite refreshing. You know, so many of these films are, you know, fairly cliched and you can see where they're going, but it's a real love letter to the genre of sci-fi, I think, and it's in its design and look and feel as a throwback to that kind of 70s sci-fi we used to get. So I enjoyed it for that kind of nostalgic kind of throwback and just a strong film.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell.
It definitely takes some inspiration from 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's absolutely no doubt about that, such as the intelligent computer and obviously the space setting. But it really is, when you look at the film as a whole, it's got very few similarities to 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's definitely its own beast. What are some of your initial thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, this is the second time I've seen it since it first came out. And
so about 7 years ago?
Yeah, and I'd kind of forgotten a lot about it. I mean, I liked it the first time I saw it, and I really liked it the second time, and was really excited to see Matt Berry in it as well.
Oh, from IT Crowd.
Yeah, I love Matt Berry.
He's hilarious.
Ghost of London, like when his name popped up, I was like, oh my god, like I don't think maybe I even knew who he was back when this first came out.
And he's sitting next to Benedict Wong, right?
Yeah. So it's that was. I mean, he doesn't really have a huge role in it, but it was just a added light in what's an extra special film.
Yeah. And Penny?
I love this film so much.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that we're doing it today. And if you need to say things about it that are hurtful, that's totally fine. I welcome those comments. But
they're wrong.
They are wrong. Yeah, exactly. We'll take it outside later. But I just think this is a perfect film. I love the whole idea of how the film came to life. I love the whole film. I love the throwbacks to Alien as well, and little miniatures, and it's shot on a low budget. I love Sam Rockwell as well, so I think that you really have to enjoy Sam Rockwell in order to enjoy this film. But this film has so much to say in such a minimal, clean way. The music, the script, the performances, it's for me a real winner of a film.
Alien's one of its big inspirations. Duncan Jones has gone on record saying that a few times, and there's a couple of other films as well which he keeps on mentioning as being big inspiration for this film. So Moon was released on the 10th of July 2009 in the US and the 8th of October 2009 in Australia. Of course, being an independent production, it was screened at the Sundance, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Tribeca, Seattle and San Francisco International Film Festivals earlier in 2009 than its general release. It was shot primarily at the Shepperton Studios in Shepperton, Surrey, in England and the UK, and also some B-roll footage in California and the US. Can you guys remember in 2009 or around this time that there was sort of the infamous writers' strike? Do you remember that as well? It had actually caused most other productions in Shepperton Studios to shut down. And then Duncan Jones brought his little film, and he sort of got... That's why he was able to get, like, top-class effects people to like work on his film because they were available. So it really was like a nice alignment for him. And he just sort of used that opportunity with his little $5 million film and just, slid right in there. And as I said, the budget was an estimated $5 million and it grossed $9.8 million worldwide. But I think that this film is just an undiscovered gem. And I think more people that find it, the better, I think.
Yeah.
Because it might not sound like much, 9.8 million, but for an independent film, that's all right, isn't it? Worldwide? It would have been limited release as well.
Yeah, it's one of the more popular indie films around that time period. I think it just did the film festival circuit a lot and got all the critical acclaim. But yeah, it's always hard to get the commercial, monetary gain with a little film like that, unfortunately.
So you think it's the independent charm and the fact that it's this quite like big vision and the way that it's been conveyed so intelligently on the screen? Do you think that's the charm of the film?
Just what you said, I didn't know that A-grade sci-fi guys were involved in getting this film made. I think that says a lot, that such a tiny film looks so good and the effects are so well done. Like, it's just... It doesn't feel like a small budget. It just feels quite an epic scale for a little tiny film about essentially one person.
The effects are a big thing with this film because of there is CGI in there, but not that much, and all the outside moon shots, most of them are miniatures. So that's like real old school filmmaking there, but they insisted. I'm sure budget played a part, but there's definitely a certain charm to those effects shots as well.
How many films have we covered before or talked about where the restraints have impacted on having just such a tight special film? Like with this one, you've just got Rockwell and obviously Spacey and Matt Berry, of course. But I don't think it would have cost that much. I've got a feeling it wouldn't have cost that much. But within those restraints, they've just come out with something, which is just super. I really enjoyed watching it the second time.
The director of the film is, as we mentioned, Duncan Jones, so just a little bit on him. And before making this film, Duncan Jones was more famous for being the son of David Bowie. And just quickly as well, one of the producers, Trudy Styler, is actually married to another rock singer, Sting. So since Duncan Jones came from an effects background in commercials, he drew upon his past experiences in creating effects under low budgets when making the film. Jones described the intent: we wanted to create something which felt comfortable within the canon of those science fiction films from the sort of late 70s to early 80s. The director spoke of his interest in the lunar setting. He says, "For me, the moon has this weird mythic nature to it. There is still a mystery to it. As a location, it bridges the gap between science fiction and science fact. We, as humankind, have been there. It's something so close and so plausible, and yet at the same time, we really don't know that much about it." You could tell a similar story in a different setting, but how appropriate does the moon feel for the story that Duncan Jones is trying to tell here?
I don't know, I feel that I was watching it thinking you could have set this somewhere just really isolated on Earth, like, and had a similar impact, I think. You know, you don't need to be on the moon to feel so isolated. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been to Perth, but my God. That place. That's isolated, you know what I mean? And that's with family around. It still feels like you're a million miles away from life, you know, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying set it in Perth. I'm not saying change
call it Perth?
No, I wouldn't even call it Perth.
Do you really think that it would have worked as well having it somewhere on Earth isolated, though?
Oh, like the Antarctic or, you know, a desert, or like mining on an oil rig.
I personally think this decision is a big key as to, like, you know, why this works. I think there's something about it.
The other thing it works for is the cloning. Like, you know, we obviously don't have the capabilities to... Do we? Have I not heard about this? Maybe we do. Maybe we can make the whole... Yeah, we can do sheep.
Yes.
But, so I can understand setting that part of it in the future.
Silent film, wouldn't it?
So what do you guys think of, like, Duncan Jones? I mean, obviously with this film, don't have much to go on other than his work here. So what do we think of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, great debut. Like, probably would go in line with a lot of other, you know, great director debuts as well. It's just, you know, what a great, you know, lightning bolt strike for a first film. I think it's just a really confident, strong beginning to a career, and unfortunately his films since then haven't been as strong. They've been very commercial, and that's the nature of it. When you get such a big start,
that's what happens.
Yeah, they just pick you up, and you get the interest factor of the projects doesn't seem to be of the same ilk.
And the money starts talking as well.
And obviously, clearly, it's a passion project as well, this one. So a lot of love throughout it.
Definitely. Matt?
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen a debut director do something brilliant, and then as soon as, you know, money starts falling in their lap, and again those restraints are, you know, unleashed, it's never as good. I think, which is a shame. What was the most recent film he's just done? Did he do the
Warcraft?
It was Warcraft, wasn't it? And that's apparently just the biggest pile of shit known to man, or orc, goblin, whatever it is. Has anyone seen that?
No.
Nope. It won't be.
Planning on seeing it? No,
it won't be. No.
Yeah, so that's a shame.
It's just the norm, though, isn't it?
He should have done Ghostbusters. No, he shouldn't.
Penny?
For me, and you might go into this, but the whole story about Duncan Jones meeting up with Sam Rockwell to make a film called Mute, which I think is also going to be in production, or is in production currently, and having an argument with, wanting Sam Rockwell to come on board, and then sort of having disagreements about Sam Rockwell being the villain in that film, and said, no, I'm not going to do that film with you. But Duncan Jones just loved Sam Rockwell so much that he went away with the inspiration to make a film directly for Sam Rockwell. So the fact that this film came out of a love and respect of an actor, and I think that it's such a perfect representation of a film in its own right, for me is just amazing. Like, it was born from not a story that wanted to be told. It was just like, I'm going to do this little passion project for somebody that I really love. So for me, the inspiration behind that is the underlying factor of Duncan Jones and Moon. It's just this amazing feature film, and whatever he does from now on, I think that is just an incredible feat. Yeah,
couldn't agree more. He also had the story for the film as well, but the writing credit goes to Nathan Parker, who's a writer and director as well, known for Moon, Blitz and Equals last year. So yeah, I don't even really got enough good stuff to say about this script. It's quite flawless. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, I mean, I think it's just a very tightly edited script, and there's just no filler in there at all. It's just, you know, very economical and very confident from the get-go. The film just starts with a certain rhythm to it, and it knows where it's heading, and it doesn't rush anything. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of work gone into the pre-production between writer and director, and wouldn't it be nice if more films went that way?
Absolutely, it would.
No, I just love it. I think it's, as Andrew said, it's so economical. It just hits every single beat. There's no second act slump. It's just this perfect beginning, middle, end. It's got a lot to say about man versus man and man versus machine and man's mistrust and the character journey of Sam Bell, 2 being better than 1. It just really blows me away. I wish that I could make a film like this.
Oh, every filmmaker does, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I agree strongly with everyone. I mean, it's a film where like the screenplay is just so tight, and I mean the silence in this film as well is so strong. Like it's so important, and that comes down to the performances of everyone. Well, of Rockwell and Spacey as well. I love. I mean, the makeup on him was amazing, wasn't it? That was amazing. But
the story of how Spacey actually got involved with the production as well is interesting as well.
What a great voice for that, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Andrew, the cinematographer of the film is Gary Shaw.
Yeah, it was interesting looking at his filmography. He's done more work as a motion controller, but pretty much uncredited for most of the work he's done on major films
That's
like
interesting.
Mummy and Harry Potter films, Sleepy Hollow, but yeah, uncredited, so it's a bit unfortunate for him. But and then he comes out and does a stellar job in this film, and it's it's just a really lovely looking film. Just really even colour palette, pretty monochromatic in both scenes with a couple of splashes of blues or reds, and you could just pause it and have just really stunning kind of stills from each shot.
Oh, heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just comb the whole film.
It's that throwback to the 70s. It just has that kind of real, like, Dark Star kind of vibe about it, or more Alien. It's just that restraint of camera movement. It's just very, very clean and not trying to bash you over the head with anything. It's very, very effective. It hasn't really done any major films since then. He's going to go back to TV work more so. So yeah, it's just like a standout in his career, basically. Hopefully he does more in the future.
Just a quick note as well about Gary Shaw. Little Eve in the film is actually played by Rosie Shaw, his daughter as well. So little cameo for the DOP's daughter there.
Nice touch.
So the cast. Well, it's not that really. Look, should we speak about Matt Berry first?
Let's get straight down to it. I reckon.
Stiller, would you say?
Or as Matt Berry would say, yes.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
No, Sam Rockwell plays Sam Bell. As you mentioned, Penny, the film was written for him, who Duncan Jones wanted to cast in a different film, but Jones and Rockwell could never come to agreement on which party should play. Because he wanted to work with Rockwell so much, he created this film for him. This performance, the different versions of himself as well, it's phenomenally good. It's fantastic. He's awesome, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
And you're right, though, like, if you don't really like him or the way that he approaches the character, you're probably not going to like the film, but how could you not? What's the dislike?
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Just seeing him play against himself, he's a consummate actor as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the character of Sam Bell. He's so flawed, and he's on this massive journey, and all that he finds out about himself is just it's just so great, and Sam Rockwell just pulls it off brilliantly.
Well, most of the time you completely forget, and this is a credit to the filmmakers as well, you completely forget that there's not more than one of him. And there's a lot of camera trickery. Really, any shot that they create, like a split screen effect, is done really well. And then anytime there's close-ups and stuff, they're using a double, but you never think about it. You're not trying to watch the movie and try and pick apart, oh, well, that shot's obviously not him. You don't think about that.
No, not at all.
He does such a good performance with himself that you just buy it and you just go along. You watch the entire film and you go along on the journey with these clones of Sam, and you're just completely enthralled the whole time. And that's good script, good directing, and a good actor.
Yeah, it's so clever how he's playing the same character, but he plays two very different characters, and just how you see that man broken down over the 3 years is done really well.
Yeah, and the attitude differences as well. Like
just how he's a young go-getter almost, and then the other guy's just broken. Yeah,
what do you think of him, Andrew?
Yeah, it's just great to see him kind of get a leading man role where it just gets to use all his amazing abilities. He's just one of those kind of unheralded actors over the last few years that I still think he's kind of underrated. and I don't think he's done a lot of. I mean, he's been in a few major blockbusters like the
Poltergeist remake. He was in, wasn't he?
He was in that.
Right.
Yeah. He was in Iron Man 2. Yeah, he was great in that. I mean, he's just such a charismatic performer. So yeah, you can easily watch a film carried by him, but it's just hopefully it happens more often.
And the other actor, of course, we're going to talk about is Kevin Spacey, who plays Gertie, or the voice of Gertie. So Kevin Spacey read the script and agreed to voice Gertie, but only when the film was finished and if he liked it. So he sort of given that stipulation up front. Having loved it, he recorded his lines in half a day.
So he must have gone, look, I know you're the son of David Bowie, but I'm Kevin Spacey. I don't know my name.
But you're right, Matt, it's a great voice. Like, it's perfect for this character.
Kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But do you think, here's the thing about Gertie, do you think that he's only creepy because of the similarity to, like, Hal from, like, 2001? Because Gertie is not a bad guy whatsoever in this film. Or are you saying that in the performance it's hinting at the fact of, or is it going to go bad? Is it got, like, bad intentions, like Ash from Alien?
Well, he might not be. He might not be bad, but he is being deceptive throughout most of it, isn't he? At the start.
Yeah, he's hiding certain information.
And that smiley face is kind of unnerving, isn't it?
The original emojis. That's great.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But when you finish the film, though, Gertie is just helping Sam out, because even when Sam, makes a decision he's going to do certain things, Gertie doesn't try and stop him. In fact, he helps him.
It's almost like he's kind of like the antagonist in a way. Like you're feeling like he's going to do something, he's going to affect the story in some way in a bad light. So there's a bit of tension there that kind of helps the film forward. Yeah,
but is there tension there? Or is it just based on what we know about films like 2001 and Alien and the way that the company or these androids are preserved? Do you watch Moon sort of going, I think I might know the way this is going because I've seen it before?
Pretty much. I mean, like, most sci-fi films have that kind of theme, don't they, where there's just that kind of menacing company or unseen corporate presence. Like, even the guys in this, you never see them, just this ship, all the time just kind of going down on the clock, and there's this impending kind of something's going to happen. So I think it's another nod to all those great films of the 70s.
Yeah,
done really well.
Are there any members of the supporting cast you want to speak about, Matt?
I think we've covered everyone that we need.
It was like a moon rock, which was just very convincing.
Those vehicles, those moon buggies,
great design.
Yeah, no, the wife's pretty good as well, I thought.
Tess, wasn't it?
That was Tess, that's right.
That's the name.
There's whilst he's talking to her, there's actually a crewman in the shot on the side of screen. If you have a relook, you'll see a guy moving in shorts. There's something right to the the right of screen.
The first time he's talking to her? Or?
The first time, that's
right.
I
noticed it. I said to Laura, my wife, I said, there's someone there. Like, I thought, the first time when we saw it, this was like years ago.
Got like a replacement husband or something. That's what it was. It's like she's seeing
and it's actually,
Sam.
That still works.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. That's it. Do you guys have any favourite scenes from the film?
I like it when the second Sam's introduced, like when he's just stood there over him in the hospital bed, and as a viewer you're still kind of like, hang on a second, are we in a dream here? Or
he's like, there's someone else in the room.
Because he saw the girl earlier, and he's starting to see things, and you're like, why is he seeing this guy from Top Gun with the aviator glasses on? And
that's great.
And then just as it all starts to come together, you're like, is it still a dream? I like that bit. It was quite creepy.
Penny?
For me, it's I think the playing ping pong is such an amazing feat of the film, which is just like taken out of it for a moment, just like, how are they doing that? But it's such a great character moment because you see the old Sam and the new Sam playing against one another, and they've got their own personalities, and it really highlights that for me.
You want me to show you how to hold that?
No, I don't need you to show me how to hold it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we plan?
Yeah. Yeah.
19-2.
Yeah.
Do you want to stick it? You want to stick a gun? I approach this in a different way. When we went to flight school, What are you doing? I'm fixing the net. It's very zen ping pong. You have to just relax.
Yeah, I think that's just an amazing part of the film as well.
Another scene that I really liked when he wants to shake his hand because he hasn't had any human interaction for years, and the other Sam just does not want to do it.
Yeah. How long have you been here? I guess about 3 years. Almost 3 years. Listen, I wanted to thank you. For, if it wasn't for you, I guess I'd still be in that crash rover. You saved my life, and, I know this is weird, you know. I'm real lonely, you know. I just want to shake your hand. Will you shake my hand? Maybe later. What are you looking at? You look just like me. It's incredible. Why do I look like you? Why don't you look like me? We look like each other, I guess. I don't know. Hey, you know... it's weird for me, too, you know.
Pretty sad moment, actually. There's lots of sad moments in this film, actually. Yeah, but Andrew, do you have a scene that you liked?
I think the payoff scene when the new Sam gets to go to Earth, you know, just that amazing shot with the I guess when he's shooting through the sound at the speed of light and all the colours, and he's just kind of like screaming with joy and he's going home.
I love the way that they show as well that the dying Sam gets to see that. As one of his last things he gets to see as well.
Nice moments.
Really good.
That's quite powerful.
So Jones preferred using models to digital animation, as we mentioned before. He worked with Bill Pearson, the supervising model maker on Alien, to help design the lunar rovers and helium-3 harvesters in the film. The moon base was created as a full 360-degree set, measuring 85 to 90 feet or 26 to 27 metres long, and approximately 70 feet or 21 metres wide. The film's robot Gertie was designed to be bound to an overhead rail within the mining base since its mechanical tether was critical to the story's plot. The visual effects were provided by the company called Cinesite, which has sought cut-price deals with independent films. But what they do in this film is spectacular.
I think it helps that they kind of keep like that 80s vibe to it as well that you got in the 70s, I guess, in Alien and Space Odyssey. But yeah, I think that's a real good choice as well.
The director described the lack of romance in the moon as a location, citing images from the Japanese lunar orbiter Selene. He says, "It's the desolation and emptiness of it. It looks like some strange ball of clay in blackness. Look at photos and you'll think that they're monochrome. In fact, they're not. There simply are no primary colours." Jones made reference to the photography book called Full Moon by Michael Light and designed a look at the film. So the way this film looks, we mentioned it before with the cinematography, but that monochrome look, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, very, very documentary, very lifelike as what it looks like.
Here's just a question for you guys. Why do you think that Sam 5, and he is Sam 5, by the way, because the two versions, based on the information that you're given, we're looking at 5 and 6. Is that right, Penny?
That is correct, 5 and 6.
Yeah. Why is Sam 5's health deteriorating, do you think?
I think all of their healths are deteriorating throughout the entire life cycle. I would say that he's probably just feeling it a little bit more than most.
Well, they sort of get incinerated at some point as well, don't they?
Vaporised.
But you don't really get a good look at how deteriorated those Sams are in the film as well.
There's those little glitches where you see moments, and some are worse off than others. So I would say that probably in the cloning process, there's probably some
The makeup was very good because he does not look well.
Whenever I get the flu, I feel like Sam. I just feel like I'm deteriorating.
It's hard to watch, isn't it? It's just like...
So really, like, it's a 3-year contract, which is a 3-year life of a clone, and so really it's just completely disintegrating, and it's like, obviously dying at a rapid rate.
The theme of, I guess, a non-human that realises its existence. Westworld at the moment is very popular with that theme.
Yeah.
And this is where I think Westworld kind of fails in a way, and this succeeds. Is you care about this character. In Westworld, I think it's very cold. And it's hard to feel compassion, but with this film straight away, I mean, obviously that's a lot to do with Sam Rockwell, but it's a fake being, but you totally empathise with it.
Duncan Jones says as well that 3 years was estimated as the longest amount of time each clone would continue working without losing motivation to do their job well. In Jones's words, giving Lunar Industries the most bang for their buck.
And I like that it's very company driven, like you see in Alien. It's the company's always got the company's best interests at heart, not the people, as it were.
Here's a question: why do they need to come to the ship, the company people? Why is it that they actually need to be there? The clone is going to perish anyway. I guess, do they just go into incinerate it? Is that long flight all designed for that?
I believe that they're being sent there to dispose of the two clones, because Gertie is actually speaking to, what was that actor's name?
You're talking about Matt Berry?
Matt Berry, that's correct. I just forgot for a moment then. Where they're speaking to Earth, and so Gertie has alerted them to the fact that there are two clones, and therefore if there are two clones up there's going to be
a glitch.
That's
Shit's
right.
kicking off.
That's right. So there's trouble brewing. So they're sent to probably just go in and kill them.
The new system is in good working order, but we only have 2 working harvesters now.
Come on. Yeah, that's a surprise, but I'll get enough. Goody, we're going to have to find a way to ramp up production and work with John.
I know.
This is incredible. Like, how do you lose a fucking rover, harvester, and employee all in the same day?
These were extraordinary circumstances, as you know.
Goody, what's the status on Harvester 3? How are the repairs looking?
Sam, you're out of bed.
Yeah. Oh, I stretched my legs. What was that?
We've been having some problems with the lunar sat, and our live feed seems to be down. I was recording a video message for Central, updating them on your progress.
Because even like the robot with his all his protocol doesn't seem to quite understand what to do with the two of them. I think he's just like so blunt, isn't he? Just like you're a clone. He's like, okay, shit.
Duncan Jones also said that the 3-year lifespan may be merely a fail-safe device. For whatever reason, the clone doesn't get into the incinerator after 3 years. He will be disposed of anyway. That's another reason for this whole 3-year thing. So did you guys get a sense through the storytelling in the film about exactly what happened? Like in regards to what exactly went wrong?
After a number of watches, I think, because I've seen this film quite a lot, and then recently, just for this viewing, I've watched the Duncan Jones and the producer talk through the audio commentary and gleaned a lot more, and I think that really just solidified it from, I think I understand what's going on, to I actually do really feel like I know what's going on now.
Yeah.
So if you want crib notes, I've got them.
Nice. Sam is very, very briefly, the real Sam is very briefly in the film, on the video.
How did Mommy die?
Dad?
Yeah?
There's someone asking about Mom.
Who's asking about Mom?
So do you think that the real Sam went to the moon at some point? Because Duncan Jones says he did.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have thought he would have. So he's a specialist in that area, and then those memories are obviously transferred to the clones going forward because they're specialists. He's the guy to go to, so he can just sit back and retire and let his clones do the work for him, I guess.
That's a fascinating story. It's so dark as well, isn't it?
For me, it was just about watching his journey. After 3 years of being up on Moon, he's found himself and he knows that he's a better man than when he first went up there. And then all of a sudden he's confronted with himself from 3 years ago, dealing with all the same problems that he had with Tess back on Earth. I find that such a fascinating idea to explore. 2 Sams are better than one, as it were, and this self-sacrifice. And I just love the idea of this base station not being big enough for the both of them, but they're being forced to get along with one another, or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
I just find that fascinating.
Why did he have the vision of the girl? Like, what was? Is he just losing the plot?
Yeah, I just think that's a glitch in his clone memory.
Well, as his sort of contract sort of comes to an end, he starts to suffer from these hallucinations. One of which caused him to crash the moon buggy into the harvester. So it's that glitch, I think, happening due to the time period.
It really does remind you of the final kind of scene of 2001: Space Odyssey, where he's seeing himself as an old man, and
because Sam 6 only comes about because of the fact that they think that 5 is dead, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
and he's woken up, and it's you've woken up from your accident, but that's actually the program that's been with all of them, that they've woken up from an accident.
Yeah,
but this Sam has actually been in an accident, so we're going along that journey with him, thinking, he's woken up from crashing the harvester, when in actual fact every single Sam is being told the same thing.
Yeah. There's something super sweet as well in the end of the movie with the whole, like, when he's really deteriorating and hardly able to stand up, the way that Sam Six is, like, you know, putting his beanie on, covering up with a blanket,
really
and then at the end, when he wants to put him back in there so he can be found in there again, you know, carrying him on the moon surface and stuff.
Yeah.
There's something, like, really, really, really sweet about that. And you're sort of going, it's yourself, essentially. You're sort of carrying yourself.
That's right.
You're helping yourself.
He grows up.
Yeah, and so the conflict that you see earlier in the film, how that sort of, you know, works with those moments, it's perfect merging. It's brilliant. So just a little bit of trivia here from Moon. The 4 harvesters are nicknamed Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John, corresponding with the first 4 books of the New Testament in the Bible. During the post-production screening Q&A at the Sundance Film Festival, screenwriter Nathan Parker said that he just needed 4 names. No particular symbolism was intended.
Wow.
You reckon that's true?
Well, there's one of the names is crossed out and it's called Judas. So
Yeah.
I would imagine that there'd have to be some kind of religious overtones.
Yeah, I don't know if I really believe him. I think that it would have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just the
random
warning
names.
itself has quite strong,
That's right,
you know, godlike permutation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'd imagine it'd be all over this film.
The film makes several references to Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, as we've said. Gertie looks and sounds similar to HAL 9000. They also have a similar dot. HAL's is red and Gertie's is blue. The film choreographs scenes in space to classical music as well, just as Stanley Kubrick did in his film. So, within the first 10 minutes of the film, Sam receives a transmission from his wife. During the transmission, Sam's daughter is told what to say by his wife. This seems innocent until a few moments later when a figure wearing a suit appears on the right side of the television screen, though only slightly visible, and remains there until the transmission is complete. This is alluding to the fact that the transmissions were scripted and pre-recorded to uphold the lie that the Sam clone is living on the moon base. The figure to the side was either overseeing the recording or possibly the real Sam. According to Duncan Jones, the voice of the man in the background is that of the original Sam, and the only time we hear him in the movie, but it's never made clear whether or not he's the one overseeing the video. You know?
So is that not the guy that you were saying was...
That's what Duncan Jones and producer Stuart Finnegan told me today.
And on the phone.
The
And what did they say?
They phoned in, they beamed in.
Yes.
With Matt Berry.
Yep.
Apparently that's just so that's just a crew member that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know.
But like I said, when I watched it, it worked anyway. Like I figured exactly what you just said then was what was going on from that. But
yeah, the song that plays on Sam's alarm clock is The One and Only by British one-hit wonder Chelsea Hawkes. Ironic, being that Sam's a clone.
Nice touch.
Yeah, it's really good.
That.
Yeah, I love that.
Good song to wake up to, too.
It was, wasn't it?
We'll get up and go.
Yeah. Just before Sam leaves for Earth, he is carrying a cylinder under his left arm. In the director's commentary, Duncan Jones says that it is a storage canister containing $15 million worth of helium-3, and that selling it would allow Sam to live well on Earth over his 3-year lifespan. This plot point didn't make the final cut, but it's interesting because he's definitely carrying it.
Yeah.
Just a suitcase then in the final cut.
He's got a cylinder under his arm. You're like, he's taking that why, but it's a more than plausible reason why he's got that.
Toiletries.
It's a long way.
Eve's age of 15 and the standard contract of 3 years, indicating that the Sam that began the film was clone 5, and the new Sam, the one who eventually escapes to Earth, is clone 6. There are also 6 chambers in the secret room containing the clones of Sam which are lit red, denoting that they are now empty. It is confirmed in the news report audio that is played over the final few seconds of the film when a reporter is heard saying, Clone 6, the clone of Sam Bell, has been giving evidence. So, the symptoms Sam is showing and the time of their onset indicate he's suffering from acute radiation poisoning, starting with headaches, moving on to bleeding, paler skin, dizziness and fevers. This would suggest that exposing the clones to a large dose of radiation is how the company is making the meal. The text on Sam's t-shirt at the opening of the movie reads, "Wake me up when it's quitting time."
Which is his shirt.
Yeah, it was his shirt, that's right. A similar t-shirt can later be seen inside a dormant clone's unit in the secret chamber. This could be a reference to Lunar Industries' policy of waking a new clone when the 3-year contract or quitting time of a clone ends.
I love that little Sam starter kit. It's
it's awesome.
Ready to go.
Think about how many there would be.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah. And according to Duncan Jones, the original Sam allowed the company to have his genetic material taken, certain memories to be downloaded, and all of his transmission with his wife to be used. The company gave him a heap of money, so after his 3 years of actually doing the job on the moon, he went back to Earth, his family was taken care of, and the guys on the moon took care of the actual job. It's dark.
Very dark, very bleak. He's not looking after himself at all.
No. So, in regards to the DVD and Blu-ray releases, I know for a fact that you have this, right, Penny?
I have them on DVD and Blu-ray.
Both? Was it a repurchase when the high-def version came out?
Yes.
Yeah. So, it descends onto Blu-ray with an exceptionally film-like 1080p, 240:1 frame transfer. Moon, you wouldn't say it's the sharpest or most intricately detailed Blu-ray release in existence. The transfer reflects the film's minimalist set design and general lack of visual flair, but it sort of does extraordinarily well with the material, making for one of the finest Blu-ray transfers of what you could call, and don't get me wrong with this, a visually bland movie. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. So it has a really healthy collection of extras on there. Headlined by a pair of commentary tracks, Penny. So have you heard both of these?
I started listening to one.
Yeah. Was that the one with the producer and the director?
I've listened to all of that one. The other one, there was a lot of extraneous chatter that I just didn't need in my brain at that particular point. But we might go back and revisit it. It's getting off topic a little bit. So
it's the one with the Duncan Jones and the producer.
And Stuart Finnegan, that's right.
They obviously are very good mates.
That's right, yeah. And just, talk very sort of favourably of the film as it's rolling along. They don't get sidetracked too much, whereas I think the other commentary for me was just going off topic a little bit and just sort of getting the boys back together and not really staying on point. So
there's also an early Duncan Jones film on there called Whistle, a short film that he included on the disc, which you see occasionally on these releases with first-time directors. Have you seen that? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I have. It's sort of.
I haven't seen it, so is it worth seeing?
Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. I think it's sort of where he came from, but I think that just also knowing about Duncan Jones' background in advertising sort of lends its flair to watching of Moon. The short film isn't that good.
Okay. Yeah,
but worth seeing.
It's worth putting on there just as an extra.
Bit of a nerd factor.
There's also The Making of Moon, which is about 16 minutes, sort of a basic no-frills piece featuring cast and crew discussing the plot, with spoilers included. Sam Rockwell's part in the film, the shooting process, set design, etc. There's a 11-minute doco on creating the visual effects on there as well. And then there's 2 Q&As. I don't know if you saw these, Penny. 2 Q&As with Duncan Jones. One from a Science Centre Q&A that he did. So they just watched Moon in 2009 at the Houston Space Center, and then they recorded Duncan Jones doing a little Q&A after that, which they include on the disc, which is really interesting. And then they also have a filmmaker's Q&A at the Sundance Film Festival on there as well, which goes for about 11 minutes. Sam Rockwell's there, and the producer and the writer, and they all say a few words, and mainly it's another Q&A with Duncan Jones though, so pretty cool stuff for this independent film to get a bunch of features on the Blu-ray like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of love those little bit of extra bits. If you really love the film, it's definitely something to look at.
Definitely. So Andrew, the soundtrack for Moon, very, very memorable. Clint Mansell is the composer.
Yeah.
Do you know much about Clint?
A little bit. I mean, I'm not very familiar with his. I mean, I know of what he's done. He's composed like a lot of Darren Aronofsky's films. He comes from like a pop background. Basically, he was a drummer in a band back in the 90s, and it's just fallen into film composing and has become a very, very strong choice for a lot of very talented filmmakers. And I think this would have to be up there with one of his strongest works thus far, and absolutely crucial to the film. Really, it's a character in the film. There's no doubt. It just has this, I don't know, just a presence that helps the film move forward.
A lot of piano.
Yeah, just I mean, from that main theme, which is kind of like this kind of constant motion. This kind of cyclic kind of sound that it has, and it just that kicks off straight from the start of the film, and you just get this kind of feeling of repetition a little bit, which is a really nice nod to what we find out later. But then it has these really lovely kind of delicate kind of themes for when he's getting nostalgic or he's a little bit kind of sad, and just very intimate kind of human sounds, which he really just very much the heart of the film is propelled by the score. So very strong. What did you guys think?
I love the music of this film. It just stays with me so much. It's sort of a very haunting sort of refrain, and I think when he goes down into the clone chamber, that brings in this lullaby-esque kind of quality, and it's just like it's just so on point. Like it's just it's a character in the film, but it's not overbearing in any way. It's just this beautiful piece of piano music.
It reminded me a little bit like a Brian Eno. Brian Eno's kind of ambient kind of albums in the 70s, which I think is, it was really clever. It just kind of tied in with the whole visual 70s feel as well, and it just had that kind of minimalist ambient sensibility, which also obviously Brian Eno worked with David Bowie a lot as well. So yeah, very, very clever.
And the beat kicks in a couple of times in the score as well, doesn't it? When there's a particular bit of action, or when Sam's getting somewhere in particular, and it's particularly at the end, I guess, in that part. But and there's a 12-track release of the score as well.
I think it's pretty full, a full score. I don't think you're missing too much from the track listing, so it covers the most of the film cues. So I think it's quite popular. It's like one of those kind of scores that I think a lot of people who don't normally purchase scores were quite connected with. A bit of a cult classic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's highly recommended if people haven't heard it, and particularly if they're a fan of this film. Definitely check it out, no doubt about that. It's a shame at the awards section, no Academy Awards or nominations, no Golden Globe Awards or nominations, but BAFTAs, being an English film. At the BAFTA Awards in 2010, it won the BAFTA Film Award for Outstanding Debut by British Writer, Director or Producer, the Duncan Jones, and it was nominated for Best British Film as well to the 4 producers on the film. And Real Chat's favourite, we haven't spoken about this for a while, Matt, the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy and Horror Films in 2010 nominated for the Best Science Fiction Film and Best Actor as well, nominated Sam Rockwell. The Rotten Tomatoes website certifies Moon Fresh with a score of 89%, 167 positive and only 20 negative, and an IMDb score of 7.9 out of 10. It also appeared on Entertainment Weekly's list of the best 50 movies you've never seen in the July 16, 2012 issue. Yeah, it should be on that list. People who haven't seen this film, in fact, they shouldn't be listening to this podcast if they haven't seen it, but some people do. They've told me. They listen to Real Chat.
And hate us afterwards.
No, they listen to Real Chat and they go, yeah, those guys, I want to watch the film that those guys just watched based on what their discussion's about, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, people like to know everything about a film before they see it, which I don't understand, but
no, I like surprises.
Each to their own.
That's it. So let's wrap this up with Real Chat's traditional 5-star review system per guest. I'm going to start over here, traditionally, with Mr. Andrew McCaskill.
Yeah, it was good to see this film again. It's been quite a few years, so I did enjoy it. I think it's a very strong film from a debut director, and I really hope that he kind of goes back to that smaller scale of film, and he's just a real talent, deserves better material. So I really enjoyed this film. I think it's one of those great modern sci-fi films. I mean, I wouldn't say I loved it. For me, it's like a film I think is a solid film and really well made, but it's not one I'd probably return to very often because I guess it's just such a minimal film. Yeah, I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars and certainly would recommend it for anyone, but especially for sci-fi fans.
Yep, cool. Matt.
Yeah, I mean, like Andrew, I haven't seen this film for a good while. I'm really glad I own it now. I just like the journey it takes you on. Like, you start off quite concerned for this guy. Like, well, I guess you're concerned for him throughout the whole thing, but it's kind of creepy, and then ends up kind of, it's kind of nice how their friendship kind of, the bond that they had by the end. And it's the best the moon's looked since Kubrick did the fake moon landings, I think. I think we can all agree that this is... No? Okay.
Andrew is shaking his head.
Andrew doesn't like the conspiracy theories, Andrew. But no, I'm going to give this 4 stars. I'm really glad we've revisited. Thanks, Penny. Thanks for coming along.
You're welcome.
Even though you're black and Asian, this is a great moment for you on the podcast. And that as well. Yeah. No, but I really enjoyed it. Rockwell's amazing, and 4 stars.
Yep, good stuff. Thanks, Matt. Penny.
As I said at the start of this podcast, I love this film and so glad to revisit it for this and really dive deep into knowing more and more about it. I give this film a 5-star rating. Yep. I think this is a perfect execution of a great story, great character, has really great big arch kind of stories going on. I love the message in it. I love Sam Rockwell. I think you definitely, as I said, you have to love him or at least like him in order to really enjoy this film. Love Kevin Spacey. Love the throwbacks to that nostalgic look at Alien 2001. I can't speak highly enough of this film. The only reason I would not recommend it to someone is because I don't want them to think that they don't like it, essentially. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, but I definitely would recommend it.
Perfect mark.
Yeah,
there we go.
Definitely.
No worries. Yeah. Thanks, Penny. So I'll just do the final word just quickly. This is definitely a throwback science fiction film that's wonderfully yet minimally crafted, and with a far more complex meaning beneath its simple exterior that slowly rises to the forefront as the picture moves forward. Moon is a spellbinding work of cinematic art that's the antithesis of the big budget and effects-laden blockbuster, but it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the less is more approach still works even in a cinema world that seems to have forgotten the importance of story, theme, and substance over flash, pomp, and volume. Accentuated by a winning performance from Sam Rockwell, superb direction, excellent set design, fantastic script, and a hauntingly effective underscore, Moon is a must-see picture that harkens back to the days of cerebral science fiction, the film enthralling and not soon forgotten. So I'm actually going to give the film 4.5 stars, and highly recommended, definitely. This is only the second time that I watched the film, and I enjoyed it even more this time, so it's getting better. So that's it. So thanks very much, guys, for coming out discussing Moon, and that's it for 2016.
Late start.
It is a late start. We'll return early in 2017, and we'll have, a whole new slate of exciting films to look at from there. But it'll be really interesting to get some of you guys, the listeners' feedback on what you think of these first 2 episodes, considering that we've sort of had to rejig and reboot the show a little bit. So if some of you can, let us know what you think, give us some feedback, that'd be fantastic. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you all next year. And Merry Christmas, Matt.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, and to everyone else here.
That's a lovely note to finish on.
And around the world and outer space.
Real Chat is a round-the-board discussion show with one goal in mind: the entertainment and enjoyment of movies. If you feel inclined, please join in on the conversation. Stay in touch with us at realchat.com.au. You can also find us on Facebook at Real Chat Podcast, on Twitter at Real Chat Podcast, on Instagram, real_chat_podcast, on YouTube at Real Chat Podcast, and now you can also find us on Google Plus at Real Chat Podcast and Tumblr at realchatpodcast.tumblr.com. You can also find us on Player FM, Stitcher Smart Radio, and TuneIn. And of course, you can find all our latest episodes, as well as our extensive catalogue of archived episodes, when subscribed to the podcast on iTunes. And while there, please give us a review, as this helps immensely with the podcast's stature and significance. The more ratings and comments we receive, the more the podcast pops up on iTunes feeds alongside other popular podcasts. And last but not least, please share our podcast and social media updates with your movie buff friends and family. Thanks very much, everyone.